century, where we're talking pelagic whaling, where you have to go quite far offshore because they depleted the whaling stocks so quickly.
So then they just dragged them back in here and
Pretty much. Yeah. So an ideal spot in the 1600s for a whale processing area, because they couldn't process the whale oil, they couldn't boil it down on these big wooden ships. So what they needed was an area with a nice flat beach for them to be able to drag the whales up onto the beach, okay? And then they would boil them down on shore before transporting them back into barrels. You guys know what whale oil was used for? Lighting, soaps,
cooking,
lubrication.
So what did they power the ovens with?
I think it was coal.
I think a lot of brought with
them.
Yeah, that would have all been brought with. And then another thing that a lot of people don't know is the baleen. So a lot of, there's two different kinds of whales, the toothed whales, like sperm whales, and then we have baleen whales. So that's the big long
plates, basically like keratin. If you look at it up close, they end up being really fringy on the edges, but it's like kind of what your fingernails are made of. Yeah. And so they all hang down these plates, and it just turns into a sieve. And so they take these huge mouthfuls of water, and then they push out the water with their tongues, but all the krill and all the yummy bits get stuck on the inside of all that platey, fringy business. But it's really nice and flexible, strong but flexible. And so for corsets in the later day, but like whips and springboards and umbrella, whatever you call those.
The frame.
Yes. So it was used for all of that. They didn't realize at that time that you could actually boil down the bones and the marrow to make oil as well, and so actually quite a bit of the whale was actually just wasted. Later they did figure that out, but at the time they were just, it was there. I mean, there was so much of it too. And do you guys know why bowhead whales are also called the right whale?
So easy to catch.
Because it was the right whale to catch. Because they were obviously big. They had a lot of blubber, so a big proportion of the whale was blubber, and they floated even once they were dead. So it was a very easy whale to catch. Yeah, it's kind of a gruesome history.
it is.
Sorry about that, guys. But I guess.
Well, I don't know if anyone's heard of Byron Bay, but
Of course.
that used to be a whaling station.
Really? I
And
just
in
knew.
Brisbane we had Tangalooma.
What's Tangalooma?
Tangalooma was a whaling station
On Morton Island.
on Morton Island,
There you go.
just in Moreton Bay, which is the bay leading into Brisbane.
Do you know what species of whale?
Humpback.
Humpback.
Humpbacks, yeah.
So just behind us, we have a tiny little bit of wildlife here. That's the snow bunting.
Yay.
The only songbird in Svalbard. So if you hear a pretty song, well, it's the snow bunting.
Pretty easy bird ID.
There's loads in Longyearbyen, actually.
I was going to say, the first two trips, I didn't even see one on shore, and then I was hanging out with Plaza in Longyearbyen, and there was one pecking at my crumbs. I was like, it's the Plaza pigeon. Okay. Yeah.
Those guys are walking through Tern territory over there.
Oh, right.
I have seen some skuas flying about as well. Yeah, close to that.
Are they as nasty as the Antarctic ones?
Yeah, they're not very friendly. They're a chick, they're not very friendly.
Their game, man. That's what they do. They go after everybody else's life. Yeah. We have a couple of species here. The great skua are real similar to the Antarctic ones. There's big and brown, and like a gull on steroids.
Yep.
And then the other ones are much more elegant.
Palmerin.
Yeah, the Palmerin and the other one. Basically, they just have a very different body layout. They're kind of